The humanists in the Renaissance, the manuscripts that they read were actually translated or transcribed during the Carolingian Renaissance.
Thank you for watching Where the Past Lives. I'm your host, Brandon Foster. Where the Past Lives is dedicated to bringing history to life however possible. If you love history, especially medieval history, then this is a place for you. Support my work by liking and subscribing. You can also financially support my work through the link below. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Brandon? Yes, Brandon. What is the Carolingian Renaissance? Well, the Carolingian Renaissance was a period in which culture and particularly education were revived for the express purpose of reforming, or rather rectifying, the way the church worked and the way the Christian people lived. The Carolingian Renaissance was a period under Charlemagne's rule. It ended shortly after him, but during his rule from somewhere about the 780s-ish all the way up into his death shortly after, dipped after him, and then started ending, especially once the civil war between Charlemagne's grandsons occurred. But it was this idea that the monks were not being taught Latin correctly. They had a very vulgar version of Latin, and he wanted to rectify that. He searched all of Europe. This was a inter-European concept, inter-European thing. You had people from England, like Alcuin. You had someone from Lombardy. He was a Lombard, which was Peter. You had people from Franklin, the Franks. You had people from all over the place, and they all met and started coming to Charlemagne's court because he was the cultural, artistic, and intellectual magnet. Anyone who was anyone in Europe was starting to gravitate towards Aachen by this point and Charlemagne. It used to be going to Constantinople, but Constantinople was having a lot of problems at that time. You had Empress Irene was in charge, and she had just killed her son and did all these crazy things. So Constantinople was struggling. You did have over on the other side in Arabia, you had Baghdad and Harun al-Rashid, and that was a huge magnet. But if you're in Europe, if you're in Christendom, you're not necessarily going to go to the Islamic Caliph. Some did, but you're not really going to go to that. You're going to go to largest Christian king. So that was Charlemagne. So everyone was coming to Charlemagne, especially Alcuin, who I've already mentioned. He was a student under Bede, who was in England, and so he was just intellectual of intellectuals at that time. And he, under Charlemagne's directions and Charlemagne's funding, was able to make something called the palace schools. This kind of intellectual hub around Charlemagne and his family. So his daughters were educated, his sons were educated, the men of the court were educated, and all these people, and they were supposed to then take that and